Hello and welcome to Technically Speaking, where scientists and engineers come together to chat about a common interest, share knowledge and satisfy some curiosity. I'm Laura and I'm joined by Ellie and Antonia to talk about a new discovery around how birds navigate, and we're wondering how we can make use of this discovery. So Antonia, how did you find out about this?
A loyal listener sent me a research article that's been published in Science. It had a lot of words that I didn't understand in the title. The title is Homing Pigeon Navigation Relies on Super Paramagnetic Macrophages Under Overcast Conditions.
Yeah, scientists like their big words, don't they?
Yes. I suppose you need them to be specific about things. Ellie, I was hoping you might know a little bit about how birds navigate, because that seems to be the main finding or topic here.
Yeah, I mean, I know what some of those words mean. I knew homing pigeons use the Earth's magnetic field as like a general abstract idea, but I have to say I've never delved into it. I definitely didn't know that it involved any sort of particular cell or macrophage. So I'm intrigued what we're going to discover, because I didn't know how they were doing it before, and I'm not sure I'm going to know at the end of this.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's the new bit. It's a macrophage is an immune cell, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what they're trying to get at, is that it's a special cell type.
Which I'm guessing no one ever thought to look at. Because why would you? Why would you connect the immune cell to sensing the Earth's magnetic field and using that to navigate?
Yeah, it's pretty bizarre. I think what they've discovered is that because it's the Earth's magnetic field, it's to do with iron. So obviously humans, as well as pigeons, have iron in their blood. And this is how they've kind of got to this point, is that they found that these immune cells are actually responsible for breaking down, red blood cells, I suppose, when they're over dying, whatever, need to be recycled. And that's how these cells have ended up with loads of iron in them, which is then related to the Earth's magnetic field, which is still like several leaps that I've not quite leapt yet.
Yeah, like how exactly did they, how did they come to find this? Were they scanning for something magnetic because they thought if whatever mechanism it is relying on magnetic fields, it must therefore be responsive to magnetism?
Yeah, well, that was the start of the research article, which I really like the way they've structured it. It's almost like a how-to. Here's what we did. Here's the first step. They just tested like random tissues, didn't they, to see what would respond.
Oh, they just went completely like, let's do heart, let's do liver, let's do everything and see what happens.
It sounds like, yeah, I guess it was just, their hypothesis was something to do with the magnetic field, so that's our starting point. So let's just test everything and see what happens.
Fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
Which is also a really strange thing to imagine, is them dissecting a pigeon and putting it under a magnetic scoping thing, detection, and going, magnetic, not magnetic, magnetic eyes.
Yeah, strongly responds, weakly responds, I think is what they found. Wasn't that something about a lot of people thought there was something to do with the beak, but apparently the liver responds more strongly than the beak does to a magnetic field.
Yeah, I think for a long time people thought thought it was all to do with the beak, that they had like some sort of iron sensing cells in the beak or something like that. But it turns out they weren't wrong. There's just way more of them in the liver or something.
I agree with Laura. This article is quite nice that they actually break it down where the leading hypotheses were. And the first one was using cryptochromes, and it's about detecting blue light. And so they thought that was somehow related.
What, to navigation?
To the beak and to navigation.
Okay, so what's that got to do with the magnetic field then, or is that a separate thing?
They were saying that it might generate a magnetic signal.
Oh.
Okay, so what do they mean by magnetic signal?
That is something that they've not really figured out, and they said it was really hard to replicate in experiments.
Wow, I bet it was. I think it's not one thing either. Like how homing pigeons navigate on a whole is not one idea. But they, like what we were saying before, is that they wazzed a load of the tissues to see what was happening. So they did the liver, spleen, muscle, inner and outer beak by vibrating sample magnetometry. Does that sound reasonable?
I guess so. I don't know what it is though. I never used it as a technique. It's just some words.
I have no idea what that means. And they said they found a magnetic blocking effect for liver and spleen, whereas muscle tissue, inner and outer beak, showed increased magnetization only below 50K. Not sure what K is.
Kelvin, isn't it? This was where I was confused because I thought the cooler the temperature, the stronger a magnetic effect is. Or have I got it the wrong way round? No, that really reduces the amount of resistance to it.
So that's at like what? 50K's, yeah, absolute zero, not far above that. That's why are they testing it that cold?
Yeah, surely the pigeon is never like even close to that goal.
I guess they'd be ruling out motion for other reasons, just like the vibration of the particles because they've got some heat energy.
There are some crazy diagrams and images that I don't know what I'm looking at. They are white and colourful specks.
Well, that's often the way with niche scientific publications. That's what I find. They started testing just different tissues, and then they sort of narrowed it down to the liver, and then they looked at which things in the liver were doing something, which is how they got onto these macrophages, these immune cells.
Yes.
Which I'm still quite impressed with, because as I said like about a few minutes ago, you wouldn't really think immune cells, that's obviously got something to do with navigation.
No, definitely not. It wouldn't even cross my mind.
No, you think it's doing something else, like immunity.
Yeah, the classic, stopping you getting ill action. Yeah. They did look at the genes as well of these cells, so they went even further in, and they found like a high expression of iron metabolism related genes in these like macrophages. So it sort of suggests that it was like they've been doing it for a lot longer than we realised, that they've like the genes have evolved in the birds to make them do this for a long time and we didn't realise till now.
Yeah, which I guess it's just one of those quirks of evolution. It wasn't really intentional for these immune cells to help with navigation. It just kind of almost happened by accident, because that's how most of evolution works.
Yeah. They say, together these findings confirmed that pigeon liver contains macrophages that accumulate iron, providing them with super paramagnetic properties. So we're back to the big word from the title.
It makes them sound like they've got superpowers.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just imagining pigeons with little, like, capes and masks on saving the world.
Yeah, it's like Magneto, but in pigeon form and good.
Or neutral.
I was going to say, the whole fact that it was cloudy is basically the only word I understood from the title apart from pigeon. But they rely on these macrophages full of iron to navigate when it's cloudy. But when it's sunny, they just seem to not use them as much.
I mean, maybe it is less effort, or just you get clearer information if you are looking at it. God, I just explain the obvious. If it's clear, it's easy to see.
Well, I think it's what I was saying before, that pigeons don't navigate. Like, a normal pigeon on a normal sunny day doesn't navigate solely by one method. Like, they've been found to follow roads. They are looking at the ground as they fly along for, like, landmarks and stuff. So I guess if it's cloudy and it's a bit harder to see those landmarks, then they go back to relying on the iron-rich macrophages and the Earth's magnetic field.
You've got me wondering how much a pigeon can see now. 'Cause, like, rats have got not great eyesight. Dogs don't see a lot of colour. What can a pigeon see?
I couldn't possibly tell you, but apparently enough to see a road from above.
That also makes me wonder, right, so they sense magnetic fields, then what? Is it an echolocation that they sense how close they are to the magnetic core of the Earth? And so they know how high they are, but that doesn't tell them whether to go, like, left or right.
Yeah, I really wonder this, because I don't think we as people have anything like... It's like another sense, right? Like, we don't feel the pull of the Earth's magnetic field at all in the same way. So, yeah, I don't know how it works if you're a pigeon and you're sensing the Earth's magnetic field. How do you then know that relates to, like, it feels a bit different if I fly left versus, it's definitely I should be flying right?
Yeah, I'm wondering about, have any of you ever done a diving lesson? You've got the tank on your back and you're going down sort of like 18 metres accompanied. And you backflip off the boat and then you have to figure out which way's up. I don't seem to have a problem with that, but apparently a lot of people do.
Oh.
And I don't know why I would know which way was up.
You just got an innate ability to... or it just makes sense in your mind that you've backflipped and therefore when you come round again.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seemed obvious to me that I was pointing the way I needed to point.
I've not tried diving, but I have tried tumbling, at the end of a swimming pool to turn back round.
Mm.
And I get confused which way up I am, even though I know what I should have done is a forward roll. But there is a little bit
There'll
of
be a
a
moment.
twist. There's a bit of a moment where I'm like, wait, am I facing the right way?
It's like if you get caught in the waves, like on a beach, and you get knocked over, and then as you're trying to stand up, you get knocked over again, and then you lose sort of sense of where the ground is.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, you can't really ask a pigeon. And if you could ask a pigeon, I'm pretty sure they'd say, oh, I don't know, I just do it.
Yeah, I think it's got to be one of those things where they just do it. Like how anything like knows to migrate or whatever. They're just doing it.
Yeah, why do salmon swim upstream to then die?
Yeah. They're not questioning, but they're not thinking, it that deeply, are they? They're just doing it.
They don't know that that's going to be the end, because surely you wouldn't do it then.
Well, I think it's like a biological drive, isn't it, to like breed, and then it's just so exhausting that they die at the end.
Early mentioned that they looked at genetics, and we were talking about evolution. So, and I'm starting to wonder how have they evolved to do this? Like, I mean, pigeons are bred by humans to do specific things.
Yes.
Yeah, we somehow bred macrophage magnetic majig as a consequence.
Well, I suppose we must have to some extent, because presumably, if you're a pigeon breeder for homing pigeons, you're going to breed your best homing pigeons together to create, to keep the line going of really good homing pigeons. And even if you didn't know that this was what they were doing, presumably unintentionally, you've then created pigeons with really high amount of macrophages in their livers. Or, by consequence, you've done it, because the homing pigeons that are good in all conditions presumably also have like a fair amount of this macrophage.
I don't know. Is a homing pigeon a special pigeon, or is it just the ones that we keep and use for that specific purpose? Are they their own species in their own right?
I'm going to go, they're a subspecies of feral pigeons that we've domesticated. So they're probably not that genetically different to like a pigeon you'd see in the middle of London. We've just bred them for a long time.
So is that a timescale long enough for evolution to come in, or is it just selective breeding?
I think it's probably just selective breeding.
See, I think someone needs to get hold of some feral pigeons or stalk some feral pigeons to see what their habits are like. And then, didn't they do a test in the research?
Yes, I love this so much.
They somehow blocked the action of the macrophages, didn't they?
Yeah,
They depleted their liver of macrophage, which is just a bizarre phrase. So, like, I don't know, did they filter their blood?
They gave them a treatment, didn't they? I thought they gave them some sort of drug to make the macrophages be depleted. And then when they tried to get them to fly home when it was cloudy, they didn't know which way to go. They all got lost.
Yeah, so if feral pigeons know where home is, say, and then you give them the same drug, do they then not know where home is? Then that would be a way of testing, have we bred it in or not? Or was it innate to the pigeon population to begin with? Or have we enhanced it?
Yeah, but I think normal pigeons don't go that far. Like, these pigeons were trained to fly 19 kilometres back home for 10 flights before they then either wiped out their macrophages or didn't. And they put little GPS trackers on them so they could see where they were going. All the control-treated pigeons homed home within 70 minutes. That's pretty impressive, to fly 19 kilometres in 70 minutes for a little pidge.
That might be faster than my walking speed.
And then it says, none of the birds that got the treatment returned on the same day.
That's so sad.
Did they wait for the drug to wear off and then they were like, oh, hang on, I know where I need to go now? Or did they have to go out and get the pigeons? Because they had GPS trackers, right?
It says, importantly, macrophage-depleted pigeons homed normally once the cloud cover cleared and the sun became visible.
Okay.
Yeah, they got a bit lost, and then once it was sunny again, they were all right and they flew home.
I'm now imagining a further experiment where you put a little hood or some sunglasses over them so they can't navigate from the sun and just leave it indefinitely and see what happens, but that's probably a bit cruel.
There is a great satellite image of the different tracks
Yeah.
and paths that they took.
There's one in red. I don't know if that represents one pigeon or not, but he went miles away.
That pigeon just really likes flying then. Just carried on.
I can't believe it makes that much difference, that when you wipe them out under cloudy conditions, they literally can't navigate at all. because they've got no sun and no magnetic pull of the Earth. Whereas no sun doesn't make that much difference. They can still navigate with the Earth's magnetic pull.
I think there's still a lot to learn from this, because I think in the research article they say we don't have all the answers here. We've just kind of
stumbled
by
across
process.
this.
Well, I was going to say that as well, but it's by process of elimination.
Yeah.
We figured out that it's something to do with the macrophages, which is weird, but it is what it is.
It's
Yeah.
also because the macrophages surely didn't evolve for this purpose, because their whole purpose is like to be an immune cell, right, and to like clear the red blood cells. It's like a secondary benefit that they're then full of iron, which is then helpful for navigation.
What is interesting is early in the article, they say how there are splenic red pulp macrophages in mice and humans that are intrinsically superparamagnetic.
Oh, so we do have a little bit of magnetic pull then.
But now here's more words that I don't understand. Because of the function of degrading damaged or aged erythrocytes, which results in the liberation of iron from hemoglobin, the iron is stored, and I don't know, some things that maybe means we can't be good at magnetic reception.
Yeah, because I'm guessing there's more to it than just you have these immune cells in your liver and then stuff happens. They seem to be saying in the research article that they were located close to like neural pathways, so there was a signal going from the immune cell to the brain, maybe.
Yes, that's what they say in the conclusion, is that the macrophages sense changes in the Earth's magnetic field and transmit this information to the brain. I'm not sure quite how they do that, but there must be some sort of activation somewhere. Because otherwise, I guess it would be pointless, right? If the brain's not getting that message, then it's not going to make a choice on which way to go.
Yeah, I guess there's some sort of, I mean, it's normally ions moving around, isn't it? And if you've got some iron particles responding to a magnetic field, that could create some sort of electrical impulse or make some ions move somewhere as a result of the charge. It's getting into physics now.
Yeah, I think they go into what happens to the electrons a little bit, but I couldn't tell you enough about that to see if it makes sense. But yeah, I think it is to do with the fact that it's loads and loads of iron, and therefore it must have some sort of like potential difference to then create an impulse across to the brain.
Yeah, so I guess if Antonia is wondering, could we use it as humans? If we've already got
Ooh.
cells that kind of do it anyway, it's just linking them up to the brain somehow. Which, as I said that, I thought that sounds weird. But then you have gut bacteria that can send signals to your brain through some chemical pathways. So it's not that far-fetched.
Also, they know the genes, right? So maybe we could CRISPR some genes into ourselves, and then we will start producing loads of these macrophages, and maybe we'll get a little extra magnetic pull from the Earth.
But would our brain be set up to understand that information?
I don't know. Is it already? Do we get anything magnetic-wise? Probably we get a little bit, right? We've got a lot of iron floating around in there, but I've never knowingly been like, oh, that's the Earth's magnetic pull, better turn left.
But I guess it would be similar to like your sense of balance. You just need to learn to interpret it, and they do that with looking at brain signals to figure out how prosthetic limbs can be used, don't they?
I just googled, can humans feel the Earth's magnetic field? It says humans don't consciously feel Earth's magnetic field, but we may subconsciously detect it.
We may, but then it doesn't say how, so I'm questioning whether that is in any way accurate scientifically. Or it's just like, well, we don't know.
I feel like I still don't know a lot about this pigeon thing, to be honest. Like, I'm happy that they've discovered it, but it seems very strange.
I think they also admit that there is more to figure out, the authors of the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder when they first started to think, oh, it's these macrophages in the liver, if they thought, what, really? Are we sure about that? How else can we test this? Because you said they did the genetic testing, so I guess that was sort of them thinking, this seems weird. We need some more evidence for this. We can't publish without more evidence. No one will believe us. We'll be shot down by the reviewers instantly.
I guess it's like anything like weird that you discover. You have to like double check and triple check the results to make sure that you didn't contaminate it somehow or do something slightly wrong in the process of it. But yeah, I wonder if we can like use it for good in any way. I suppose it's a good thing that if the internet fails and we have to go back to sending messages via pigeons to know that the weather is not going to affect them.
Well, I'm thinking, you know how some people say they've got a really terrible sense of direction? It would be really useful if you could get somewhere without having to rely on a GPS system for everything.
Or on site in general.
Yeah, it's much harder navigating when it's dark, isn't it? I wonder if they're going to find this in other species. Because there's other species that, use the Earth's magnetic field. Maybe if they cut open something else, they'll be like, oh my god, look at all these macrophages.
Or they're all starting to look in the liver, not just in the beak.
Or the brain, or wherever you'd think, the connections would come from. It's still weird that it's the liver.
You're saying that though, Ellie. There is also different organs that produce hormones all over our body that then send signals to our brain.
Yeah, but that's for, different things that make sense to me. You get hormones sent from your reproductive organs to your brain to trigger them to do stuff. That's fine. That makes perfect sense. Why is signals coming from the liver to do with navigation? That's the bit I can't get my head around.
But then there are signals from the gut that are linked to depression and anxiety and all sorts. And why would your gut affect your feelings?
That, again, I feel like that's easier to get your head round, because it's if you've got a tummy upset, you feel bad. So then if you've got a really, persistent bad bacteria in your stomach, maybe you have got depression, it's linked. That makes sense.
Oh, we'll see what the next... I'm assuming they'll do more research into this and publish some more results. Because it seems a shame to leave it there. We've discovered this thing and now we're going to go do something else.
I think everyone listening to this should read the paper, because I think you need to take it into context of everything that they've discovered, and it is a lot of stuff.
And I think it's quite good at explaining the full picture of where they are in this, of where the science is, because sometimes you read a paper and you don't really know how significant this finding is.
Yeah, you might have to look up some of those big words, though. I had to. I didn't know what a macrophage was until I looked it up. So you need to do a bit of translation, I think.
But what they are saying is that, right at the end, is that the macrophages might not just be for immunity, they might have other purposes.
I'm like, well, what came first? Is it more like a byproduct or a side effect that they do immunity stuff? They were actually there to do nervous signalling initially.
Yeah, so one of the papers they reference says that macrophages facilitate electrical conduction in the heart. Quite a different purpose.
I guess maybe that goes back to what we were saying about it having loads of iron and having ions, and then potentially having an electric signal.
Yeah, so maybe they have just evolved to do more than signalling. Signalling came first. Oh, it sounds like that might be a good place to leave it, because we're speculating about science that no one has done yet.
There's still time. I hope they do. Yeah, I do hope they do more research.
So it turns out pigeons use immune cells in their livers to help them navigate, but only on cloudy days. And if you block the effect of those immune cells, you get some very sad pigeons, I guess.
Little lost pigeons.
Lost and tired pigeons.
Yeah, it sounds like some more interesting experimentation to do than just sitting in a lab transferring chemicals around.
I mean, you actually get to be hands-on with the pigeons. They had to train them for a long time.
Yeah, maybe I should retrain as a animal behaviourist.
Yes! More zoology always.
So, I guess that's the end of the episode. We hope you've enjoyed it. Feel free to listen to some of our back catalogue. We have quite a big back catalogue now, so we've been doing this for quite a long time. And if you like what you have heard, I think we are still accepting tips via our coffee jar. So take a look for the link for that in the episode description. Leave us a bit of cash and we can carry on having these slightly weird conversations about science. We'll see you next time.
Bye!
The views expressed in this podcast belong entirely to the person that said them. They do not represent any industry or organisation. If you enjoyed listening to these views, it would really help us out if you could rate us, leave a review and tell a friend. This podcast was sponsored by no one, but if you're interested in funding us to continue to have frank discussions about science and engineering, please get in touch.